Hey guys, Angel down here at Indian Motorcycle Tucson. Today I wanted to spend some extra time showing you guys some sweet safety gear, why we wear it, and some great tips on if anything happens to you and your motorcycle in the worst inevitable issue, of course, that we all dread, a motorcycle going down while we're riding it. First thing, of course, it's something that we just need to acknowledge and know that it's real. The good old saying, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, is 100% true. Ride for the slide, or dress for the slide, not the ride. So I wanted to show you guys a couple different gear options, a few different variations you can gear yourself up properly, and having this good gear on is going to be what keeps you riding your motorcycle longer. It's going to keep you riding your bike longer, more comfortably, and of course, if anything does happen, which as we already talked about, is just a matter of when, not if, you're gonna be safe, you're gonna take a way lesser impact, and you hopefully are gonna be able to just pop right up and be like, okay, this happened, let's move on, let's recover, and then get back to riding motorcycles. First thing is when it comes to gear, I have the staples: helmet, jacket, gloves, boots, and then lastly, riding jeans. The main four, though, are going to be the helmet, the jacket, the gloves, and the boots. Those are your main points of impact, and they're your vital points of impact. You can be geared up to the toes to your neck, but if your head hits that ground and you're not wearing your helmet, that gear didn't do you much good, now did it? So when it comes to helmets, that is key. Helmet is number one. The beauty of helmets is there's a huge variety of helmets, and not everybody has to wear a completely full-face helmet. The beauty of a full-face helmet is this is going to be your optimal level of safety. This is covering your face, it's covering your cheeks, it's covering the back of your head, and it is ideally, if it's sized right and put on properly, is going to keep you from your head jerking or cranking or spinning around as well. So full face helmet is ideal, ideal. But now people may say, oh, that seems a little hot for summertime, or man, I really want the wind in my face, or that's the whole reason why I ride. I believe in the motto that I'd rather you wear something than nothing. That's when we move to a couple other different sizes and styles. A half helmet is a great option that's, again, 100% going to protect you better than not wearing one at all. And it allows you to get more wind in your face, it allows your face to be more exposed, and it almost feels like you're not even wearing one. A lot of the more modern helmets come with these inner drop downs. These are so important for that eye protection. Eye protection is pretty much a legal standard across the country. So even if you're in a state that doesn't require a helmet, like we do here in Arizona, you still need to have something covering your eyes. So might as well put a helmet on and get the best of both worlds. Another cool option is a 3/4 helmet, where you're getting a little bit more coverage than a half helmet, but you have the ability to get some more air into your face, just like the half helmet does. And then you have inner drop downs, visors, things of that nature. My absolute favorite helmet is a modular helmet. The reason being is because it is the most versatile helmet you can come across. It is essentially a full face helmet that has the really cool ability to completely lift up and out of the way. So you can get air into your face when you need it, have eye protection, and then have full coverage safety when you're actually cooking down the freeway and riding around. This is the new AT950 from Scorpion. This is one of my favorite helmets out right now. It has an inner drop down, an outer drop down, the modular face, a removable adventure visor, and a removable main screen. So you can actually ride it almost like a dirt bike helmet. It's very versatile, very cool looking helmet, and protective, and that's the main thing. When it comes to jackets, every single person that is riding a motorcycle, in my opinion, should own at least one jacket. If you had to pick one here in Arizona, I would say a mesh jacket. If you're living somewhere colder, I would definitely go with more of a leather or a textile, and they have variations in different perforations, different airflow, different materials, but essentially go with a jacket that's going to be CE, armor approved, has the pads in the shoulders, has the pads in the elbows. Those are your points of impact if you ever do go down. You want that armor there if you're sliding around against the pavement, not just a t-shirt, because that's going to disappear immediately. So make sure you're getting something with some armor in it, or at the very least, something that has pockets for armor in it. So that's a big difference between a regular, just in the store leather jacket and a leather jacket that I get from one of my many providers like Roland Sands, Indian, Scorpion, all make fantastic, fantastic riding gear that I even stock. And some of those leather jackets may not come with the armor, but they come with pockets that you can install back protectors, shoulder protectors, elbow protectors. And all of that stuff is important to have on you when you're out riding. Again, that way everything goes smoothly if the worst case scenario does happen. Gloves kind of end up falling into that same category where you can get different ventilations, different level of protection. But really, a good solid glove is one with a little bit of knuckle protection, a little bit of leather, and a little bit of breathability. That way you're really getting the best of both worlds. You're getting your protection, you're getting your breathability, you're getting a little bit more traction for your hands for when you're actually riding. So you're not just having the benefit of protecting yourself, you get a little bit of rider comfort as well. For those longer rides, a little bit less vibration in your hands. And lastly, as far as gear goes, is boots. Boots are a very underrated safety item, mainly because a lot of folks just think, oh, as long as I got some covering my ankle, that should cover it, right? Well, yes and no. The no comes from there's a reinforcement in riding boots that keep that sole stable while you're twisting. So I get a little bit of flex in the main boot, but this sole helps keep everything together and keep it from twisting your foot and from it collapsing in your toes or your heels or your ankles. So always try to wear a riding boot opposed to just a regular old boot. That way you're getting that Vibram sole that's not going to twist, that's not going to collapse, that's not going to break down. You can even get now these really cool new riding tennis shoes. These are my favorite right now because it looks like a tennis shoe, right? And it breathes like a tennis shoe. They're fantastic. You get a little bit more ankle coverage, but you still have a bit of a reinforced toe, reinforced sole. It is going to do its job if you need to. Kind of in reference to half helmet to full face helmet, of course, a full boot is always going to be the most protective. But this is great for summer, for something a little lighter weight. Now we're going to move on to the moment of truth. What happens if I drop my bike? All right, guys, the moment we've been waiting for. What happens when your bike goes from upright and you on it to no longer? Once you're down, this is a pretty typical situation. The reason why I really like to use this bike is A, it's not super heavy, but B, it kind of does exactly what every bike you don't want to have happen. It lays completely flat on the ground. Now, I highly encourage investing in some highway bars, crash bars, engine guards, whatever you want to call them. They install onto your bike. They're usually a few $100, very reasonably priced, and they'll keep your bike at more of an angle. So that way, if this does happen to you and you do find yourself in this situation, the bike's not completely flat on the ground. You can actually get a little bit more leverage and get up underneath it, which you're going to see me do here shortly. Now, once you're down, you want to try and get yourself set up to be able to come back up, right? So I like to make sure my wheel is pointing the direction I want to go. Front wheel, direction we want to go. Kickstand, if it's down on the opposite side, kick that kickstand out. That way when the bike comes up, that kickstand's going to catch it for you. Now, sadly, if it goes down on the kickstand side, you're just kind of at a disadvantage, I'm afraid. But you can still practice the same exact technique. You're just going to have to balance it once you get it up back on its tires. I recommend grabbing these little tire straps or wheel straps. Anything that's like a little strap, they don't take up any space at all. That way you can kind of loop this around certain parts of the bike to get you some leverage. So on this bike, there's actually a shock right here that I'm going to use. So, not lifting all the way up yet. Just trying to get myself a little bit of room to stick this down here. And I'm actually going to use the shock to give myself the most amount of leverage. So now I actually have a handle around this shock that's going to help me lift it the rest of the way up. We're going to come up and around. Uh-oh. Wrong way. Got to turn my tire. All right, so now that we get here, tire's facing the direction we want to go. You want to get low and then shoot up. And then you're up. So you want to use as much as your legs as possible and as little as your back as possible. If you do have a bad back or a bad lower back or anything like that, please be very cautious doing something like this. Remember, once the bike is down, it's not going anywhere. Don't be in a rush to get this thing up and off the ground. Take your time, breathe. Your adrenaline's gonna be really high when this happens. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is rip it up off the ground, right? Try not to do that. Try to slow yourself down. Think logically. Okay, how am I gonna get this up off the ground? Give yourself some leverage points. Gives yourself enough room that you can get low enough to get your butt on the seat of your motorcycle, the tank, somewhere that you can brace yourself and then pop up. Just like you would do if you're familiar with weightlifting or anything like that. When you do a squat, really use your legs, get into it, stick your chest out, and get it up off the ground. Again, if you're ever in that situation and you feel nervous about it, don't just rush into it. You don't want to hurt yourself any more than you may be already injured. If you guys ever have any questions, give us a call here at the shop and we'd be happy to answer them for you.